yourself up. So I come to you and I say, hey, you did a great job. I'm so proud of you. You're wonderful. You're funny. You're interesting. You really made an impact today.
Would you say that to me afterwards?
I would. I totally would. I mean, I wrote it down.
Would you say it like that?
I'd say it in that exact tone, all enthusiastic. I'd probably say it with a more like, you did great, bud.
Right.
But yeah. So we'd compliment them. I'd compliment you and fill you with good feelings. We'd say genuine things to you that would want them or want you to feel soothed, comforted, and loved.
Yeah.
So we have to learn how to do the same for ourselves.
And that's true. That happens every time I speak. I feel a little bit vulnerable afterwards, and maybe I missed something, or maybe I didn't get the message out to anyone. Like, those thoughts always go through my head after I speak.
Yeah.
And I just have to take like 10 minutes and say, hey, I have social anxiety and I spoke for 1,000 people.
Yeah,
like, go easy, Paulie.
Again, those small victories, right? And the thing is that a lot of the time we're our own worst critic. So everybody out in that audience, no one knew what you were going to say, right? You might have been like, fuck, I forgot to say that. No one knows that. Yeah, to them it's fresh.
Yeah, and like, I don't ever think that I'm like a professional speaker. I very rarely wear a suit when I speak.
Right.
I wear a t-shirt, my hat, I'm just me, and I think that's what's made me successful as a speaker is I'm authentic.
Yeah.
I'm just me. I'll show up with my Chuck Taylor shoes on for like a big fancy gala event because I want people to see, hey, this is this guy, he's this way all the time.
Right, sure.
Right? And I think I'm not going to be fake
just because it's
like a big fancy deal. I'm going to be who I am, and that's the way that goes. And I think, especially image-wise, I don't care what people think of how I look. I think of what people think of what I say, right?
Or even if you say the wrong thing at the wrong time, we're all people, that happens, right? So your intention could be great. I think as long as people pick up on your intentions being positive, it's fine.
Yeah, and I just talk like this when I speak in front of a crowd. Like I don't try not to use any fancy dancy words. I just kind of try to have a conversation with people because I think that's more relatable when it comes to this stuff. But like, sure, I've ever, like I said before, I have every reason in the world to be pissed off at the world, and I've like got to a point where I'm just choosing not to do that anymore. Right. And that's a slow process. That's still a work in progress, and I'm grateful that I'm in the process. And it's certainly not a destination I'm after. I'm just trying to find some beauty in the journey of this. Getting through, right?
Sure.
I'm not looking for a burning bush or...
This is where you talk about life happening for you rather than to you, right?
Yeah,
that's a cool... I like that. I think I put that in here too. All we've got to do is turn the negative talk around. So when you're thinking that you did a shitty talk, all you have to do is start implementing some of this and you'll feel better right away.
And
you probably do, right?
Me is... what always turns the corner for me, and I know that this turns the corner for me, and I still go into this kind of stuff for like 10 minutes after I speak. I say like, Paulie, you just got up and like shared your story in front of thousands of people. Yeah. Like, not many people could do that.
No. Well, one of the biggest fears, actually, the second biggest fear I think for most people is death. The first is public speaking.
Public speaking, yeah.
So, dude, you're already beating death.
I like... I've beat it a few times.
You have,
I've beat it a few times.
You really have.
I didn't think that, like, in school... Like public school, you know, when you read the speeches, I never made it to the gym. I never like made it past the classroom. Like,
no, I
didn't
either.
Stuttering, and I'd read I never thought that I'd ever be a public speaker.
No, I hated speeches.
And I found a message that I am passionate about, and now I'm a pretty sought after public speaker.
Well, that's just it. You just have to find that passion. I think.
Yeah.
Once you find that passion, and it's not about. It's almost like a bigger calling, right? Like, it doesn't become about something that you want. It becomes something you feel you have to do.
It's almost a responsibility. And that's what I say all the time.
That's kind of what this is, man.
Yeah.
Like, we're doing this out of the same thing. We're not getting paid to do this. No. We're just trying to reach, as nice as it is to be able to get thousands of views and whatnot. It's not about... That's great to be able to reach that mass, but really we're just trying to find the people that are too afraid right now to even... talk to us or reach out to us, the people that are in these states where they're maybe so anxious that they're almost agoraphobic in a sense and don't leave the house, where they have the blinds drawn and they're just laying in bed and it's tough to even get up to go to the washroom. Those are the kind of people that we're hoping this gets to. So the reach is fantastic because it might hit some of those people that we've never met before. And it gives us a reason to keep going.
And I think with that, it's not about comparing, it's not about comparing your story to our story.
Right.
It's about identifying those little things because, like, we have different stories, but we have similar stories as well, right? And so that's the same with the people that we're reaching out to is...
The coping tools are all the same.
They're all the same, right?
So the tools are the same.
Yeah.
So whatever your story is, everything that we're sharing that's helped us can help you.
It can, yeah. It's about identification, not comparison, right?
Right.
I think I learned that in recovery. I can compare myself right out of a room of recovery because I'm not that bad.
I know. Yeah. Last week I had a dear friend of mine reach out that's been going through some issues with alcohol. So we went to an AA meeting. And I looked at his face, and he kind of said, I don't think I'm this bad. I'm like, I feel the same way, but it's nice to be in this room where people are being real, they're being raw, and they're just being completely open and honest, and that's refreshing. Yeah. In a world filled with lies, especially online, it's nice to be around honest people. Yeah. I was refreshed being around a bunch of alcoholics.
Yeah. How cool is that? Would you ever think you'd like...
Never. I mean, you never think that you're going to end up in one of these places.
Never. But it's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool. It's refreshing. I'd rather listen to someone telling their story about how they've overcome the shitty times they've gone through than listen to some fucking guy telling me about all the material things he has and how fucking much money he's making and how he's going to do this tomorrow and buy this and buy this. Like, what are you doing for the world that's any good? Besides taking from it.
Right. Exactly.
So anyway, and I used to be one of those people too. So like I was a hotshot realtor. Thought money was everything. Yeah. Hot women, it's just bullshit. Yeah. I mean, not that last part. That's nice. I mean, still have an appreciation for all women, but it's more
today,
about what's in here.
All moms.
All moms, especially today. Our appreciation is with the moms today. Yeah. Good job. So all we got to do is turn around. When you start looking for positive reinforcement from outside, which is what we've talked about quite a bit, we don't live up to our own expectations or the expectations of others. It's hard to do anything in your life. So if someone says something bad about you, you take it personally. Yeah. That's the whole point of this whole inner strength thing, is as soon as you stop caring about what others think and worry about feeding yourself the love, that's a freedom that you can't get anywhere else.
It really is. It really is like a sense of freedom that, where are you going to get that? You can't pay for it. No. Right?
Yeah. So
you can't buy it.
Yeah. Well, you can't buy it. Not at all. You could be, like, look at Donald Trump, right? I mean,
oh, man.
We can get into those mental health issues.
It's a whole other podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Once you learn to change the way you think and not be affected by opinions of others, doors will start to open. Yeah. You'll start to see that life is happening for you, not to you. That's where I put it.
Robbins.
Yeah. Anything is possible. There is no such thing as failure. You can do anything. You can go anywhere. You can conquer anything because you don't need approval from others. You get it from yourself. Which is awesome.
Couldn't have said it any better myself.
No, you can't. It's perfect.
It's perfect, yeah.
That's one thing. See, I mean, I know nothing's perfect. That's fucking perfect.
That's fucking perfect, yeah.
If you change the way that you take or talk to yourself, you can have a totally different experience. Change your perspective. Learn to look at the positive things you do and learn to blow them up. This is a cool point. And out of proportion, instead of looking at the negative things you do and blowing them out of proportion. Because if you have anxiety, a lot of the time, it's those negative thoughts. You're creating this fear, these feelings that scare you by the thoughts that you're thinking and that you're grasping onto. If you can just blow the positive things that you do. Yeah. So, for example, you've gone a month without self-harming. Yeah. Or almost, right? Yeah. A couple of weeks at least. We've been on this for like a month. Yeah. So that's huge. So instead of thinking about yourself in the negative, be like, blow that fucking out of proportion, right? And blow the speaking engagements out of proportion, all the speaking engagements you booked. Yeah. That's huge.
Oh, yeah. And that's the stuff I'm proud of, right? Like, I really am proud of that stuff.
Sure.
Because I've worked along and I've worked in, like, especially when it comes to self-harm stuff, like, guys, it's hard to admit for guys especially that we self-harm. Yeah. To be open with that and to share that with someone was really tough, and I self-harmed because I told someone, right?
Really?
Like, because I felt so ashamed and guilty and, like, disgusting that I weak, you know what I mean?
Did you care about what they thought about it? So you were still validating through opinions of others at that point.
Yeah. And now I think I've just switched that thinking, and it's a process for sure, right? Like, I don't think tonight I'm going to go, because I've told the world that I still struggle with that. I don't think I'm going to go home and self-harm, right? No, I think that I've gotten these tools that I could say, you've done a whole month without it.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got a busy 2 weeks coming up with all these speaking events.
Yeah,
right? Like
positive things are happening.
Positive things are happening. I just put that out to the universe, and it's going to come back for sure.
Right.
I believe at least. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it sounds like you're on the right path to really change. Like, it doesn't sound like you care about what others think because you're sharing your story here.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you're really starting to work on these negative thoughts and not giving the validation. Yeah. Don't give them any meaning. Like, just think of them like, it's a negative thought. Yeah. And then be like, whoa, but this positive one's pretty cool. I like that. Let's focus on that one.
Yeah. And that's just a transition, right? Like, that's all that is.
Right, man. For sure. If you're going to play something up and make a big deal of it, play up the little positive stuff. That's going to make you feel more empowered. Sometimes when people try this new way of thinking, they go from one extreme to another, and we talked on that. So that isn't realistic, and you won't believe it. You have to keep your goals, keep your positivity realistic. So sometimes even when we're talking, like, oh, you're doing great, you're doing fantastic, maybe slow it down and just be like, I'm doing some speaking engagements, and be honest with yourself, right? Because the lies are the negative thoughts. Right. You don't want to lie to yourself in the positive thoughts. You want to be able to believe those.
Yeah.
And then you realize that these negative thoughts are all little lies just floating around.
Yep.
Right? So a good exercise to try is carry around a notebook. We talked about this for a week. Every time you have a negative thought, write it down immediately. You'll be blown away by the number of negative thoughts you have. Yeah. It's extremely important to track your negative thoughts daily, hourly, and weekly. So if you want to make some changes, I know right now your anxiety is probably telling you, I don't want to do that, I can't do that. Yeah. That's your anxiety talking. Just grab a notebook, listen to that voice that you just heard, and write down your first thought right there. I didn't feel like writing down my negative thought.
Right.
There's a negative thought right there. Mm-hmm. So, and if you want to it's extremely important, if you want to have some fun and you're keeping track of your own thoughts, you can keep track of everyone in your life as well and say, that'll give you practice catching negative thinking. So if you can hear someone else's negative thought, you can write that down too, and you can see how negative everyone is.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing. I mean, the world's not going to change. You have to change, and you have to change the way that you respond to it, really.
I agree.
Yeah. So if you want to have some fun, keep track of everyone else's too. We're surrounded by negative thoughts, negative news, negative radio, negative people. And it's enough already. Why? There's no need for it.
There isn't.
There really isn't. Once you take control of the way that you think, when you put this energy, it's all positive.
Right.
Yeah. So as soon as you catch yourself in a negative thought, this is a good one. This is how you can catch yourself. We kind of talked about catching negative thinking. Well, this is a visual way to do it. So if you're a visual learner, as soon as you catch a negative thought, put up a stop sign. Then ask yourself, what would I say to a close friend or someone I love to make them feel soothed and comforted? And then replace that thought, and there you go. The more frequently you do this, you're automatically going to replace those thoughts, right?
Yeah. It'll just happen naturally.
Right? So to replace a negative thought with something more positive and empowering might feel a little funny at first, and that's okay. It takes a while to break a bad habit. So be sure it's something you believe. We've gone over that as well.
Yeah.
And we've also said our body doesn't know the difference between being addicted to the good stuff or being addicted to the bad stuff, so why not get addicted to the good stuff? More often than not, as we've said before, the positive statement is also much more true than the negative one. So let's do an example here of a negative thought, and we'll talk about anxiety and we'll replace it. So here's a negative thought that's realistic, especially with someone with anxiety. Mm-hmm. Oh no, here it comes again. I'm having some of those anxious feelings. I'm having a heart attack. I'm going to lose my mind in front of everyone here. I'm going crazy. I'm losing control. I'm going to run out screaming. I'm going to make a fool of myself. Fuck. That's how it's
negative.
Fairly negative. And that's just these little voices kind of competing with each other to see who's getting, the scariest.
Yeah.
Right? So how do you replace that with something that's a little more realistic? Okay, I'm at the mall. It's crowded. I'm in a crowded space. I haven't been here in a while. It's fine. I'm a little anxious. And that's okay. It's no big deal. It's going to pass. It's just anxiety. It's not going to hurt me. No one's ever died from a panic attack. I'm not going to pass out. I'm not going to lose control. It's not going to kill me. I'm okay. I've lived through these feelings before. I can do it again.
Right.
So that was a little long. We just wanted to kind of put you into an anxious state for a minute and show you how easy it is after practice and after patience to kind of calm those feelings down and look at them and laugh, because they aren't true. They're shit. They're full of shit. They're bullshit.
Yeah.
They're shit. Really they're bullshit.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. Just because you have an anxious morning doesn't mean that it's going to happen for the rest of the day. You're not going to have an anxious afternoon or an anxious evening unless you put yourself in that state.
You feed